welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
Insert transitional gold here. I was saying before the show, it's like we do the intro, there needs to be a little something meaty here, and I don't know what it is. Any suggestions? What do most people do? I don't know. Do they just go right into it?
I think they just go right into it. They don't look for the awkward transition moment.
I feel like there is one.
Well, we'll just keep searching.
We will. Apparently, Willow not canceled.
Yeah, what's with that? What is with that?
Well, I believe it is canceled, and John Kasdan just can't accept it.
If you read the article, there's some serious denial here. Okay, we released the cast because they've got more important things to do. But we're still talking about it, and I don't know. It's
all right, but here's my favorite quote. Are we going into pre-production right now?
No.
Not right now.
No.
Does that mean we're never going to make it?
At any point in the next 12 months?
Not. That's what he said.
Not so much.
It's funny how, and I read through a lot of trades and stuff. You know, I do every day, but I did today. There's so much, with lack of news, there's so much taking what somebody said. Like, Willem Dafoe would be willing to play the Green Goblin again if they came to him. That is a non-story. So no one's asking you. There's nothing in pre-production. Who knows if they ever need the Green Goblin? But they make it a headline because it's in an offhand interview about something. It's stupid.
I just read my third article about Zachary Levi wanting to make a Chuck movie.
I just had that here.
There is no... It's just like... All it ever is goes back to his saying, "Yeah, it'd be really great to make a Chuck movie." I'm really pushing to make a Chuck movie.
He's out doing promo for Shazam, and he thinks that whoever it is, Warner Brothers, is into it now.
Yeah, he thinks that.
Okay, I love that show. I rewatched that show a couple of years back. It holds up. It's great, but does it have a fan base that would support a movie?
And that is my question, Barry. Do they start off with do they do a thing? Firefly was a lot closer to this than
I think so.
Do they start off with a premise where if you saw the show, it makes sense, but if you didn't, you can still follow? I think that's the only way you can do it.
They throw it on HBO Max. You spend
$30
million. Done.
But that's the thing. It would have to be like an HBO Max movie, not a theatrical movie. So let's go back, because this ties back to more comments that John Kasdan made about Willow. So he said this, and he's in the industry, so he should know the answer to this. But he said, due to forces much larger and more intricate than I would ever pretend to understand, production on streaming shows is slowing down industry-wide.
But, okay, that's not why you were canceled. But
no.
The whole world knows we're in a production lull.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking to save money now.
Even people that aren't in the industry are hearing that. Like, you're in the industry. Of course you should know that, Jonathan Kasdan.
Yeah. But he seems like...
I just loved how he's like, we're not making it now, but that doesn't mean we're not going to ever make it.
Yeah.
The converse is...
Like the sequel to the movie Willow. which theoretically they could make someday. Doesn't mean they're not making it.
Yeah, it's easy to say that, like they're saying about John Wick. Keanu Reeves and the director, we're not really thinking about movie number 5. We're going to take a little bit of a break. Let me tell you something. They're making a 5. There's no doubt about it, and it'll probably be the last one.
But they're also doing that spin-off, right?
Yeah.
So
the ballerina I don't know if he'll be in it. I know it's been in previews and stuff, and I think it showed at South by Southwest, and I guarantee there's obviously not a ton of people saw it. It's got a 9.2 on IMDb right now.
Yeah. Again, it's there are certain things that as long as they can wring money out of them, they're going to do.
As long as he could shoot multiple people and not harm any more dogs, everybody's there.
Well, and I know that they just lost, was it Lance Reddick?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the actor. But I think they can do that. They can move that franchise forward without him.
Yes, they can.
He isn't a giant part of it.
I will say that I was going to mention that later. There's a dude who was in everything. I was actually surprised at how young he was.
Yeah, me
First
too.
of all, the thing that freaked me out is he's 60, and they said he died of natural causes. Those two things don't go together.
Don't usually go together.
Tell me about it.
60 and natural causes? What does that mean? You're not supposed to die at 60. That's not natural.
Yeah. But
that's messed up.
But again, you know, he's in a lot of things I liked, particularly Fringe and The Wire.
Bosch. He was in Bosch.
Bosch, you know, the John Wick series, obviously. But I think he tended to play older than he was. And, you know, you just, like I said, if you'd told me he was 68, I would have bought that with no problem. You know, just based on how long his career's been going and how many things he did. Check out his IMDb. I mean, he's been in everything.
I'm scrolling down his IMDb right now. I mean, he's
right.
No.
I need more info. I need, for my own personal self-interest.
It doesn't seem like somebody of that age would die of natural causes, but
yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. Yeah, but my gosh.
Is a heart attack natural cause?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't know about that. That's
heart failure. Heart failure. If nothing causes it, that's natural causes. I mean, if you're not electrocuted or something, it's natural causes.
Oh, I forgot. He was Matthew Abaddon on Lost.
Yeah, I'm saying he's in everything.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, he's just in absolutely everything. And then, like I said, just a very good actor and a good character actor, I should say. He played a certain part and he did it well. And wherever he popped up, you knew that's what he was going to be. So,
I know we're all over the place, but rest in peace.
That's where we're going to be. Rest in peace.
Tonight's an all over the place kind of show.
It's one of those things.
So, no, it's. I said just it is way too young. So.
All right, so I've got one
that
just kind of just blew my mind a little bit, but so the headline, you talk about headlines, Dave. The headline said, like, Tom Cruise demands to see The Flash early. But what the article actually says was that Tom Cruise was in a meeting with David Zaslav, who's the head of Warner Brothers and Discovery. And during the meeting, Zaslav said that The Flash is great, and he was recommending it to Cruise. So then Cruise said, "I'd love to see it." So then apparently Warner Brothers had like one of their employees bring the movie to Cruise's house in Beverly Hills, and he stayed there while Tom watched it. And then when the screening was over, he took the movie back. But that is a far cry from the headline, which is Tom Cruise demands to see The Flash. There was also
a story saying Tom Cruise called the director right after seeing it.
Well, I was going to say that next. So apparently he called the director, and he was telling him how much he loved it and that the movie's great, and this is the kind of movie we need right now, and it's like just saying that it's like the greatest, like James Gunn said, the greatest superhero movie he's ever seen. So they kind of shouldn't overhype this movie right now. They've got the right level of buzz going for it.
Did you guys see the most recent trailer? It's
Is there? I haven't seen a new one.
There was one a couple weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, maybe a week and a half ago. Yeah.
Maybe I saw it.
There's not another one. No, that's the one with the Batman.
The one from the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a slightly longer version of that.
But I've seen the longer version.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It just looks good. I mean, I just like I said,
really
I am so the Michael Keaton element in there. I don't know.
Supergirl looks cool.
I feel like James Gunn could have had enough influence on this. There could have been enough, that good going on here that they can make this really good. Really unfortunate debut. Really unfortunate debut for Shazam this weekend. Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods. They need to be talking about something other than that, and that's
it's a ways away though. They still got till June.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, geez, it's almost April. But just because the lead actor is wacky, I mean, there's plenty of that. Marlon Brando was always a wacko.
I say there's a reason that they stuck with this movie, and
but and I look, I don't know the real story, but Marlon Brando was always a wacko. To my knowledge, Marlon Brando didn't hold people hostage and wave guns in their faces.
Yeah, but someone has. Robert Blake probably did, didn't he?
Probably.
I think there's been a number of whack, and I don't know how much we're ever going to see this guy again after this movie, but
they may not be able to get away from him if it's so well received.
Yeah. We'll see.
But I know we were speculating, like, is this the end of the Snyderverse, or is it tied to the Snyderverse? And if it is, then I don't know that we're ever going to see it again. But.
This is I'll tell you, this will be the concluding chapter of that. They can't do anything other than that, and or it's got to be both the concluding chapter and then just like introduce a new multiverse where they can go.
Well,
where
they're
they
saying
want.
it takes place in sort of a different universe. So, but and I don't know what the springboard, but piggybacking on that, James Gunn will be directing the Superman movie. He's writing it and now he's directing it.
Yeah,
and it's got a release date 2 years from now in 25. But I don't know if that's the first. I guess there's some other things, but that may be the first thing that really, in a big way, kicks off that sort of whatever era.
I will tell you right now, given what Marvel is in the middle of, I think moving away from a connected universe is damn smart. And if that's what they do, if they focus on the characters and then decide who's in the same universe, whatever, they may be a whole lot better off. Because right now, everyone expects the next Marvel thing to be the Holy Grail. That's going to be the next Marvel. That's going to draw
what they said about
together.
the last one.
That's what I'm saying. And I think if they do more, movies like the Batman and the Superman film is good and very good in its own merits, and not be in a big rush to have everything draw together and then have to rebuild again, which is the issue that Marvel's facing right now. They don't have all the right pieces to rebuild. They've got potential. And at some point, the audience is going to thin for these films, and it may have already. They've got to focus on good product that stands on its own. And it's just not... they're at odds with each other with a lot of their material right now. I mean, one of the big things that is wrong with the Shazam film is...
Did you see it?
Well, I was going to ask you, did you see it?
I've not seen it yet. Did either of you see it?
We were going to go, and then we got...
I think I'm going to go tomorrow night.
I want to go just to see this character I just texted you a picture of.
I was onto that in the last one.
But here you have two films that are in the space of a single year, okay, that are based on the same character, the same character set, and there's no linkage between those two films whatsoever. Black Adam and this, there is no. I mean, that makes no sense whatsoever.
Obviously, there was in the comics, but does there need to be in? I mean, I guess there does because they both have the same emblem on their uniform.
Black Adam is a villain from this series, okay?
Yeah,
and it's like they are both. They're both. One's the present Avatar and one's the past Avatar, and yet there's no linkage whatsoever. It makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, they link everything in this universe, but these two things, because tonally they're so different, they couldn't find connecting tissue between the two. You put Superman in the end of Black Adam, not Shazam. That makes no sense whatsoever. Then you put, and this is I'm sorry if this is a spoiler, but they've already spoiled this in ads.
I saw the spoil.
You put Wonder Woman in Shazam, but not Black Adam. I mean, it doesn't.
And I haven't seen the ad, but I saw the action figure. Yeah. There's a Wonder Woman action figure in the line. Like, okay, so now we all know she's in the movie.
They're in a weird spot. They're like sort of in that we just broke up, but we have tickets to go see The Who, so do you want to go together?
It's a really good metaphor. It's a really good metaphor. We could each have one ticket and then meet there, but that's going to be awkward. So
either you can take them both and bring one of your friends, or we meant to go together, so let's just go and it'll be fine.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's just
never fine.
This last, and again, I hope Flash is as good as it can be. And I don't think that this is a bad film. I just think people aren't seeing it.
I know. Only did $31 million.
I also think it's really hard when you very publicly announce that you're winding this down and changing gears.
Right.
How do you get people excited about going to see the thing that is going to have no connective tissue to anything in the future?
I think if people like the first one, they would go see it.
I think that
the
first one
was
fell
fine.
between the cracks, though. It fell, like, the hardcore, like, superhero people didn't go see it, and the kids didn't go see it. I think it kind of felt like...
I thought it was
hit
fine.
the ground.
I would go see this, and
I will too. And I just rewatched the first one. I think I liked it better the second time, but it's fun in a way that few of these films are. And again, I think, like I said, this is probably a better film than the opening it got. So
yeah. I again, we actually had tickets, and then because it's funny because Mark is like, I'm like, you want to go to movies? He's like, you want to see Shazam? I don't really want to see Shazam. I'm like, really? It's like, we just go to the movies. Let's just go. There's nothing, So we got tickets, and then he had something else that came up. So I got I had to get refunds.
But I think that's a good point, though. If Mark should probably be the target demo for this,
yes,
and if he wasn't interested in going to see it, then
he was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. Let's go see it. But it's not like, oh my God, it's Ant-Man, I got to go see it.
Right, but and my son Joshua, who's basically the same age as Mark, is not banging on my door to go see this either. And normally he's like, every Marvel movie that comes out, he's like, let's go. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we've been busy for like the past 4 weeks between a million other things. But now this came out, and then this weekend John Wick comes. I'm much more excited to see John Wick, so I'll go to see that this weekend.
Do you think
and probably not see Shazam until it's
Do you think this is under promoted?
Shazam?
Yeah,
I feel like I'm seeing it.
I've seen a lot of promotions for it.
The problem, the thing is, and this gets into a little too much of the business, but it's all over the Warner Brothers Discovery-owned networks. So if you're that's a lot of networks. It's HG and TBS and TNT and Discovery. So if you're watching, they're not really promoting it a ton as far as I know other places, but they're doing a lot of it. And there are massive billboards. At least, remember, what was that billboard I showed you, guys, a few months ago? Was it for Black Adam, maybe? I don't know. But it's got that same, that's like the prime Times Square billboard. That thing ain't cheap. It's on that whole 5-panel thing that's 10 stories high. So,
you know what? Another movie that's coming out in a few weeks that I'm somewhat curious about, but not enough to go see it in the theaters. This is Dungeons and Dragons movie. Oh, but I saw something the other day that they announced that Amazon Prime holders were going to get a preview of it, and so I took that to mean that I'd be able to watch it on Prime. All it meant is that if you had an Amazon Prime account, they gave you a link that you could buy tickets to see it a day early in the movie theater. So it's like, I would have watched it at home. I would even have paid some money to see it at home, but it's just not enough to make me want to go out and see it in the theater.
To me at all. I don't know.
I don't know. I've always had a soft spot for D&D. I played it when I was a kid and all, and I like sword and sorcery kind of movies. And I like Chris Pine, but
it feels like it feels like a little Willowish, where it's going to be olden times, but they speak with modern language kind of thing.
Yes.
It also feels a little bit... Yeah, I can see that. It also feels a little bit... oh, God, I just had another comparison in my head, and it's gone. So, okay.
The thing with Paul Bettany, where he's naked?
No, not that.
What's that movie called? I
have no idea, but I don't want to know.
That's the Heath Ledger one.
Oh, God. Yeah.
That wasn't a bad movie.
I remember. I was going to say it feels a little bit like some of the other movies Hasbro has made about games or toys.
Yes.
Right,
Battleship, we had this discussion.
No, I know,
but it's not horrific.
It's not, but the G.I. Joe movies were. Have they made other movies based on toy lines? I feel like they have.
the Slinky movie.
Transformers,
not well
maybe?
received.
Well, the Transformers, but those started out pretty good.
Yeah.
They just kind of petered
The
out.
first one was really good.
I don't know.
They're making Mousetrap. No,
It's just I don't feel like just like weekends are kind of become so precious. Like it's got to be a real reason for me to go see a movie on a weekend at this point.
That's why I feel like Shazam is not gonna. By the time in 6 weeks from now, when it's on HBO Max, I think that's where I'll see it.
I don't think I'll go see John Wick, and I love the John Wick movies, but I don't see myself running out to the theater to see it.
I want to see that because I feel like I want to go to the movies again. The last one was a disappointment, Ant-Man. I want to go to the movies, and
No, I hear you. You know who's not a disappointment, Dave?
It's not the Fanboy Collectibles. Oh, wow.
See, yeah,
great.
I pulled it out.
Nice. They're never a disappointment. Let's see. Hot Toys Amazing Spider-Man 2. I bought and sold that figure, and now they re-released it. I can't buy it again, but I'm glad they're coming out with it because now you want all three. So check that out. That's
a good way for people to get those figures that have been sold out for years, right?
Yes, exactly. So check that out. There's a cool Sideshow Yoda statue. That's awesome. There is Sideshow, more other Sideshow stuff, and Hot Toys, and plenty of pops, and everything you need. Certainly the Hot Toys. We'll get into some of that later. But check those guys out. fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut. Tell them the Regular Joe sent you. And thank you, Troy, for he posted something exciting. Excited to listen to the show in the shop on a Friday.
Yeah, he shared last week's show on his social medias.
Hope it didn't disappoint. Oh, you know something? I'm looking back to last week's notes. We mentioned that in the This Is Us, not This Is Up, whatever. The Last of Us, This Is Us. This is The Last of Us.
Too many us titles.
Ashley Johnson played the mother of Ellie, and not knowing anything about it, she was the voice of and the motion capture actress of the character in the video game.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
There's not enough Ashley Johnson out there. We
need more Ashley Johnson.
Yeah, we do.
I know. I don't know what she's
always
up to.
fun.
I think she's doing voice work. She was good as Patterson. She was great in Growing Pains when she was 5. I don't know what she was. But we like Ashley Johnson. And I guess the dude who did there's a guy who did something is in the video game, is in the show, or is going to be in the show, or something. I don't know. But it's cool that they're connecting that stuff together. Just wrapping up DC. So Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
And by the way, Todd, he is saying that his statements about Jennifer Garner causing him to drink, which you pointed out several months ago, were misconstrued.
Yeah, he's saying that was taken out of context.
Yeah. Though you can listen to the whole interview, and it may not have come off the way he said it. He intended it, but that's what he said.
Yeah,
so
Jennifer Garner, Jennifer Garner's too good for him. We can all
we have established that.
We had this conversation last night, actually.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah. He at one point he said he would like to direct a movie for DC, but he says a lot of stuff that I feel may be retracted later. He says he has no interest in directing anything for this new DC thing.
I thought like James Gunn said that
he's a good guy.
He was going to direct one.
Yeah,
in that announcement that James Gunn made, he said it.
In an interview, he said, I don't see myself directing anything for this new version of DC. James Gunn's a good guy. I like him, but I don't see myself directing the way they're doing things.
He also said that in The Flash, he thinks that that's the best version of Batman.
He did. That was his best. Yeah. He had his best handle on a character in that 5 minutes in that movie. I will say the Justice League situation is very unfortunate because to take a movie that's very much a culmination of one person's vision and then have that person have to leave that film and be replaced by essentially a fixer who has a completely different idea for the film, no one's happy in that situation. And when he talks about it being the most miserable experience he's had making a film, he is talking about that, that later period of it. He's talking about the Joss Whedon period. and at least that's what I got from that.
And I can understand why they brought Joss Whedon in. I mean, he certainly brings a pedigree with him and everything. But if he had a completely different vision for the film, shouldn't they have found somebody that was going to support the original vision?
You don't bring in like a guy who's very much does his own thing. You bring in someone who's going to just...
You bring in Ron Howard.
That's what I was just thinking.
Who's going to look at what's on the
Solo,
paper,
right.
and he's going to finish the work.
I don't even think you bring in Ron Howard.
No, but I mean, he did it in
like
Solo.
that.
You bring in someone who's going to follow the book.
I would be very surprised if Ron Howard made a lot of creative decisions in Solo. I think he finished the movie the way the movie was written, and I think you need someone who's a lot less ego and a lot more get it done. In that case, though, I think it was written as a comedy, and so they had to rewrite it. But then he followed the rewrite. Right, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying he didn't walk in there and say, "Oh, my vision is this." I don't believe, anyways. And this was
what was written as a comedy? Solo.
They hired the guys that made the Lego movie to make a Star Wars comedy.
I don't believe that. I've never believed that. I think they wanted it more tongue-in-cheek. I think they wanted it more humorous. I don't think it was ever going to be a comedy.
Well, but Todd, like, and what's really unfortunate is that they don't make making of books on this stuff anymore because they've just kind of shut the door on that. But like, we'll never know. But they hired those guys based on their sensibility of their previous work. That script was supposedly done before they started filming. Kathleen Kennedy should have read that script and known it was a comedy, and maybe should have said, rewrite it, change the tone, rather than what I'm saying is 70% of the movie.
Okay, a comedy is an intentional thing. A comedy doesn't happen by accident. I think it probably strayed a little too far. It was too tongue-in-cheek. It was too whatever. But I'm saying I don't think these guys were hired to write a Star Wars comedy. I really don't.
And maybe that's true. I mean, I do remember at the time them saying, we were making a war movie. That's going to be Rogue One. We're making a comedy. That's going to be Solo. Like, I do remember there being conversations about.
I remember it being talked about as a buddy movie, and like and that there's comic element to that, but I cannot imagine anyone, Kathleen Kennedy or whatever, would have greenlit a Star Wars comedy.
I think Kathleen Kennedy's biggest flaw is she hires people and doesn't even... We saw that, obviously, with Rian Johnson. Here we are, many years later, talking about Rian Johnson and Solo, and doesn't supervise them enough and see what they're doing. What's your vision? Walk me through. Let's have a week-long meeting of you walking me through. I don't think she's doing that, or you wouldn't have been in the situation you got.
Well, and that's why now they've gone so far the other way. Like they're
just not making movies.
They're not making movies.
Yeah, but apparently she still talks to Rian Johnson as he's parking her car.
According to Rian Johnson.
I think Rian Johnson and Jonathan Kasdan are probably hanging out now because they're both still waiting for their movie and/or show to be produced.
They're in the production denial therapy group.
I wonder if there's a secondary Lucasfilm cafeteria where all the people who think they're still going to make a project
actively working
have lunch together.
Oh, that's great. I love it. Is that Kathleen? No, that's not. That's not Kathleen. Okay, never mind. Kathleen? Oh, wait, no, that's not her. Just
that's crazy.
Waiting for someone who can make a decision to come in the room.
It's nuts.
So today, that's up for pre-order. I am ordering... Unless you guys think I shouldn't, I'm curious of your opinion. So one of the things the Celebrity Authentics, who does autograph signings, is doing a Bradley Cooper autograph signing.
Oh,
and I want a rocket thing with his Bradley Cooper rocket and a quote. Like, I didn't think about all the minutia. I always laugh at that. So that's what I'm thinking of doing. And I might have two Dave, Bradley Cooper, rocket. I didn't work out all the minutia. So autograph, $500. Personalization, two Dave, $200. Character name, rocket, $200. Quote, up to 5 words, so I'll have to shorten it, $300. So Should I go for this $1,200 8x10? Do you think?
I absolutely think you should. I can't believe you haven't pulled the trigger already.
Yeah.
No,
It's
you should
still less than I paid for my Harrison Ford autograph.
Yeah.
That's a little crazy.
That's a lot crazy. That's not a little crazy.
$500 for the. I'm not. This is not disparaging against Brad. I guess it is against Bradley Cooper, but dude, that's a freaking lot of money.
And Shatner's still $80. So
and
even
a character to write the word
current
rocket
numbers,
is
that's
$200.
4 Hot Toys figures. I mean, it's like, oof.
It's more than 4. It's like 6 Hot Toy figures.
Yeah, I think they're
$1,200.
They're closer to They're closer to $300 a piece. Now.
They're $250 a piece now. So
yeah.
But that's a little nuts. That's crazy.
That's a lot.
That's why, like Robert Downey Jr., which I guess I wanted his name and I Am Iron Man on a thing, and it was going to be around this. It's just too much.
Okay. That's what I was saying to you the other day. Like, I'm so glad I did this, started this when I did, because like I just wouldn't be able to get into it now. Like the autographs I have, I couldn't even
do anything now.
Couldn't begin to start buying that stuff now.
And I'm so glad I never did, because you guys have more money than I do. So yeah. God, it's crazy.
But even still, like I actually, I have my infamous spreadsheet. I was because Joshua was asking me questions about it the other night, and I actually pulled it up on the computer, and I was showing him, and I was like, oh yeah, the first 5 autographs I got on that poster were $5 a piece in 1997.
Yeah,
when you start to look at it over the course of 20 years, and you can really track how much the prices have changed, it's kind of nuts.
The degree to which I understand what the appeal is to you guys, okay, Barry, you also have a whole ton of memories tied up in that. Most of that stuff, you met the people, you had the experience, you could tell where. When you put something in a tube and mail it away with a check for $1,200, okay, or a box, that's a different thing entirely.
Yeah, and I rarely do
now,
that.
And that poster has 72 autographs.
Han Solo capstoning something, that's a different thing entirely. But a standalone item that's going to be, it's a lot.
Yeah, 72 autographs, and I was there for 71 of them.
Yeah.
So,
that makes sense.
Well, I mean, what's crazy, Dave, is that somebody...
Fanboy Collectibles.
I'm just going to say, who's not crazy? Oh, wait a minute, we did that.
We were talking about it the other day. Like somebody was showing pictures online of these are the items I just got back from the latest Harrison Ford signing. Items, and they're like hundreds and $1,000 a piece or more. People are spending the money. It's just I don't begrudge people for spending the money as long as they have it. But
yeah, I know it's I don't know.
So I've got one, and I'm sure you guys saw this. So did you see NASA revealed the designs for the new moon spacesuits?
Oh no!
Oh, you haven't seen that? Okay, I can send you a picture.
Yeah, I saw it last week.
Yeah, it was all over last week. All right, picture incoming.
Are these the EVA suits, or are these the...
These are the ones that they're actually going to walk on the moon with.
So are they hard suits?
No, they're not, which is interesting. Now, the picture I just sent you, it's black, but they're saying it will be coated in white thermal material when they actually use them. But for training...
this has got a hard shell. You can see by the way the...
And this is the Russian suits, right? This is the back entrance thing? Because that's supposedly what they were doing.
Well, so what I find really interesting is that NASA worked with a woman named Esther Marquis, who was the costume designer for All Mankind on the design of the suit. Obviously not the engineering of it, but
it is
aesthetics of it.
I think it's a hard torso. You can see the way the shoulders are. Yep. You probably get in this
from the back.
And again, that's pretty much the way everyone's acknowledged. That is the way to do this, is step in through the back, seal it, and then add your pack.
NASA's saying that this is essentially the first major redesign that they've done of a spacesuit in 40 years.
Jeez. That's cool, though. It'd be cool.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool.
I guess it'd be too hot in black.
It's the Axiom Extravehicular Mobility Unit is the name of it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see another side.
And it's what they're going to wear on the Artemis missions. If you Google it when you get a chance, Dave, there's video of it and a lot of pictures of it.
Yeah.
They had one of the engineers actually in it walking around at a press event that they did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see it in white when it's fully set up. But yeah, look, I just was like, it's exciting that there's like information coming out now about these Artemis missions.
That's cool. I like that.
All right, I'm officially out of random topics.
Yeah, I'm cycling. Hang on here.
Okay, I think a couple episodes ago we were talking about stuff that's coming up, and I mentioned the Citadel movie. It's not a movie. The Russo brothers' Citadel is a series with that. I don't remember it. Priyana Choprik or whatever.
Oh, Priyanka
and Rob Stark. It's a series, and it's already been renewed for season 2, even though it hasn't premiered yet. But I'm excited for a Russo brothers series. I mean, it's got to be exciting.
Oh, it's got Stanley Tucci in it. I like Stanley Tucci.
Yeah.
He's going to be making a lot of pasta.
Timothy Busfield's in it. Wow, it's got an interesting cast.
Busfield's still around?
He's only in one episode, apparently. Yeah, this looks like it could be interesting.
Yeah.
Joe Jonas's wife, Priyanka Chopra.
Yeah, I think if they and then that and I don't know when it's. I think it comes out in April.
Oh, let me see. April 28th.
April 28th. So that's good. And then
on Prime.
Good.
So, are we ready to talk Star-Crossed? Our weekly Star Wars, Star Trek update?
Oh, sure.
Did we talk about... No,
Last week we talked about them, but we haven't talked about them yet this episode.
So, kind of a reversal of fate. I think we had a stellar Picard episode.
You thought it was stellar? I thought it was good.
I thought it was great. It was really, really good.
You always had a soft spot for Ensign
I
World.
always did, and I thought they did justice to the character.
Spoilers.
And I wasn't spoiling anything. They did
justice.
No,
I'm just letting.
Well, not everybody knows she's even in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think it's pretty hard to not see that online right now. They did a great job. They, I think they kind of reinvigorated the plot line a little bit. It felt right. I think there was a lot of emotion to it, and I think it was well written.
It felt like a plot device to get as many people off the ship as they could, so that we could have a mission with a smaller group of people.
But it worked,
and that was successful.
I like the idea that the what do you call it? The shapeshifter. What do they call them? The changelings?
Yeah, the Dominion.
That they're sort of the bad guys, and we saw back in Deep Space Nine we saw all that stuff, but now they're coming back in a big way. But that's fine. That in and of itself, Starfleet is infiltrated. There's the shapeshifters are at the core of this. They got the Rafi and Worf thing. Do we really need Picard's man-child son to have some demon living in? I felt like do we need the supernatural bullshit? Like, there's enough going on. Like we don't need storyline on top of storyline. That's just and that seems like
okay. To that, I will say there was not enough storyline in either of the 2 previous seasons. So having some threads that they can pull on as they work their way through the 10 episodes, I don't think is a bad thing. I think we get a little too much screen time with him.
Yeah, he's annoying.
He is annoying. I love that they didn't magically make Captain Shaw a good guy now. He's still a dick.
He's still a prick. Yeah.
But I thought it was a really, really good episode.
I think he's got some of the best dialogue on the show. I love his dialogue.
Does. And that's one of the things that I give them credit for, that is spreading it around a little bit. But no, I think the show is stronger than it's ever been, and I think this is probably
that's a low bar, but I'll agree with you. It's good. It's good. I was a little bit with
season. I mean, even in the season, I'm saying it's
No, I thought it was good. I liked the seeing Ensign Rowe or Commander Rowe, and she looked the same pretty much.
She always does. But having, like I said, I think the mentor betrayal whole thing was never resolved with the 2 of them, and I could see both of their positions, and I think that was, and neither were, Neither were black and white. Like I said, I thought that was done very, very well.
I like that, and I like that that they used it to wrap up a loose end that never got resolved in the original series. But like that opening sequence where Jack's running around killing people, and then that wasn't really real. It was in his I could have done without all of that.
I feel we've seen that in so many different shows. They could have come up with, and obviously there's something in him that whoever's involved in this wants to get their hands on, and I don't know what it is, but I feel like that's that sort of monster living inside you. You don't know. It's just been done and done and done.
I think these shapeshifters are not more enabled shapeshifters. I think these shapeshifters are shapeshifter human hybrids.
Yeah, well, it was interesting that, I mean, the big twist there, right? That they can, they can, maybe the way they can disguise themselves, that like they're undetectable.
So maybe he's infected and he doesn't know it. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
Or maybe he did it medically and something.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
and maybe that explains why he looks so goddamn old for
that could
a 24-year-old.
Very well be. Yes. Yeah, it also prematurely ages you like 15 years.
Yes,
he's like Obi-Wan.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, he lived on Tatooine for 10 years. That explains it.
That was it. He went to school on Tatooine. Okay. So it's like I said, I feel better about it. I think the show's going well. I think they're, the concerns I had, I think, are gone. I'm curious to see where they go with it. Okay, now over to Mando.
And I must be in the minority here because I really enjoyed this week's episode of Mando.
I also enjoyed
the first 10 minutes.
What's that? No, I was going to say I enjoyed. Let's see.
You searching for his name?
Yeah. What the hell is the guy's name?
It's Dr. Pershing.
Something or other.
Dr. Pershing.
Did the middle section of this feel like something we've seen recently?
I've seen a lot of people comparing it to Andor, but
it really had an Andor feel to it. And all of a sudden, the very slow character development, methodical character development.
It was almost like the bad guy who got sent to, work for the Empire in the Empire office.
But yeah,
it's the same thing.
It kind of, that's again what I was feeling like. It wasn't as well done, but I hope they really are going to do something significant with these two characters. Because if this is just the way to sort of say she's still there and she's a bad guy, she's just going to, we spend the whole episode getting this guy set up to get his mind burned out. So that,
and I felt like it was just and I know, Dave, when I said this to you, you didn't agree, but I felt like it was the way of just sort of winding down Dr. Pershing's story. Now,
we didn't need that.
No,
it's got to lead to something else. I think it's got to lead to something else.
And like, this is a pretty elaborate setup if she just wanted to take this guy off the board, which she pretty clearly did when she
seemed like she was setting him up for something. But it's not like when they went to that ship, it's not like they came away with something that was so valuable that she set him up to get something. Like she got nothing out of it.
Now, if she'd gone over to the dial and turned the machine off, okay, she's getting his loyalty, she saved him, whatever. Like, I could see something.
And then let's go make Snoke.
Why didn't you just push this guy off one of these walkways with no railings? If you just want,
I'm curious what
if you just want to kill him. Why? There's a whole lot of easier ways of doing it.
But I also think that the sort of monotony part of it, that what happened to all those people who worked for the Empire.
I found the New Republic that out interesting. I did.
Yeah.
And they could have tightened it up. This was the longest episode we've had. It was almost an hour.
Yeah.
And it didn't need to be. If it was 45 minutes and they trimmed down that mid-story, I think it wouldn't have been as like...
I was just happy that we got the answer to the question of, did Mando get pulled under or did he fall? He fell.
He stepped. Yeah, the steps were gone.
Yeah.
He's awfully clumsy when Bo-Katan is around.
Yeah.
Well, who wouldn't be? Yeah. I would be too. So.
But I will also say to that is, if we have 4 more episodes of no one taking their helmet off, it's like, is this just so that she can go do other work? I mean, what the? It's
we know Pedro's not under the helmet when he's not. You don't see his face, but do we know if Katie Sackhoff's in the suit or is she?
Why
not?
would she be? It's like this is now
Is Emma,
from the
Emily
moment she puts
Swallow in that
from the
suit?
moment
Has
she
she
puts
ever
the helmet
been on
on,
the
we're
set?
back to voiceover work. Okay, and that's where like if this is going to be, if she's going to maintain this pretext of having the helmet on. Now, granted, this is the largest cluster of Mandalorians out there, and if she can recruit all these people to her cause, keeping the helmet on for a little while is probably worthwhile. But, yeah.
It is a good question about the armor, Dave. I have no idea whether Emily Swallow is under that helmet or not. I'm going to say she's not.
Be? I mean, what else are you doing? I'd be like, yeah, I'll wear your freaking outfit.
I'm guessing she's not, although, like, yeah, I'm with you. Like, why? She's not such a big actress that she wouldn't be, but maybe.
I don't know. With the Doctor, I'm really wondering. I mean, obviously the thought is, he was cloning. They were working on something that had to do with the Emperor. We know where it ends. So I'm wondering if she, like, wiped... By doing what she did, she wiped the rehabilitation out. And now he's sort of knows all his medical stuff.
Yeah,
but
I'm wondering about, and that's where, like I said, if like he had said, oh, by the way, here's where I store all my secret research, and then she did this to him, I could see that. But it just seemed a lot of setup to just.
I feel like he'll be like.
It seems like she fried his brain. I don't know. It really didn't seem.
If that's the case, and we don't see him again, you owe me 40 minutes.
I just wouldn't imagine that machine would go up to that setting just to knock the good programming out of you. He seemed like he was in a lot of pain.
That's what I'm saying. It's
what if it knocks your whole personality out, but you still have your sort of academic knowledge? I don't know. We'll see, obviously, but it was could have been a little slow. You went from fast, 10 minutes interesting to like...
You know why you're thinking like that? Because you watched Spock's Brain this weekend and you saw that teacher thing that they put it on their head and it taught them how to do brain surgery.
That's what they need to do.
They need that thing.
Everybody needs that. But,
sure. Okay, so can we talk about another show now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, are you guys up to date on Ted Lasso?
I haven't watched it yet.
We are. I am.
Are you,
Todd?
You didn't watch the whole first
I did
two
watch.
seasons.
I watched all of it. I'm up to date. So let's go.
Oh my god, I haven't watched it yet.
Did you enjoy it?
It's fantastic. Okay.
Okay. We've been telling you that for 2 years.
Did you see the whole Nate turn
it's
coming?
Easy to watch.
Did you see that? Like it was that is it when you watched it in real time versus watching it
I didn't see it coming.
Basically 3.5 days. Did you see that coming as clearly as it was telegraphed?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Did you at watching it the way you binged it?
But it was just it's so compressed. Like I said, I think I watched like 3 episode or 4 episode chunks, absolutely great show. By the way, it's everything is. You know who actually got me to watch it is, and I will give him full props to this is Sean. Sean said,
"We've been telling you for
I know that,
but you
know what? Sean made a great. I was saying, I don't care about sports. I don't need to watch a sports thing.
I don't care about sports.
Neither does either of us.
I know that." And Sean said, "Did you like WKRP?" And I said, "I love WKRP because I think we had talked about this in the past." And he said, "Did you watch that for the music?" He said, "It wasn't about the music. It was the characters, and it was the character. It was just the setting."
We all watched.
That's a deep
WKRP for
cut.
2 reasons.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yes, we did. Yeah.
Especially in our teens.
Yes,
Les Nessman.
But
no, kidding.
There was actually some great shit in that show. But anyway, so I figured I'd try it, and then I just binged it. And
I wanted to mention something, but we didn't want to spoil it. But not that it's funny, but when the guy kicks the goal, the whatever the penalty, and kills the dog,
yep.
And then the next little dog shows up with a helmet on.
The whole show is just it's
and there's a lot of funny stuff.
It's brilliant, and like I say, he does a great job with the character, but every character in that show is great.
Who's your favorite character?
Roy Kent. I mean,
Of course, it's everybody's favorite.
No. Roy fucking Kent.
That guy is so not that guy.
Fruit of that show. It's like Roy Kent.
And he's a writer producer.
Yeah.
And he just decided to do that thing. I didn't order the last season. You could have ordered a Roy Kent jersey. Yeah. And
I was hoping to have him here today, but I bought the patch. And I bought one for each of us. So I have a
nice.
I have a Richmond Greyhounds patch for each of us. So we could put them on our puffy jackets and wear it with the zipper all the way up.
There you go.
It's great and it's everything everybody said. And like I said, I was going to watch when the show ended because this is the last season. They say
I don't know if it's the last season.
Yeah.
There's talk.
They're also talking spin-offs too.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Honestly, there's
one for anybody that doesn't know,
episode,
Ted Lasso 80.
Yeah, there's one bad episode out of the whole 2 seasons, or one mediocre episode. It's not even bad; it's just mediocre. But it proves that episode, which is the Beard's Walkabout episode. It proves that show is strongest as an ensemble show, and when you pare it down, it doesn't work.
That Christmas episode was amazing.
The Love Actually thing with the cards, was freaking brilliant.
I don't even remember most of this.
Oh,
stuff.
it's just so good.
So anybody that doesn't know, this third season just started last week. So as this podcast drops, there'll be 2 episodes of the third season out. So if you haven't watched it, now's your chance, like Todd, to catch up.
Yes, and you can do it. You can do it easily if you forego meals and whatnot.
They're half hours, so they're
half hour, and they go by quick, and it's tight, and it's just a lot of fun. And like I said, there's not a lot of waste in there. Everything is character building, and everything is and this guy, I will say, the main character is iconic in the way that Michael Scott is iconic. Okay, the show kind of centers around him, but it's not just him, but it's all the other characters around him, but he is a thing. And it's like you know what to expect from him, but he can still surprise you. And again, a lot of really great performances, and Roy Kent is just awesome.
I don't know if we've talked about it or if maybe we just mentioned it, but one other show real quick that I've really, really been enjoying, and it's also on Apple Plus, is called Shrinking.
Yeah,
have you guys been watching that?
I didn't watch this week's, but it's
all right. So it's Jason Segel and Harrison Ford and an ensemble cast. I think it's the best acting Harrison Ford's ever done.
It's the only acting Harrison Ford's ever done.
But he's actually acting, which is crazy. I mean, there's a scene where he is driving in a car.
It's funny, too.
Singing Sugar Ray. And it's funny. It's just, he's really good in it. It's a really good...
It's very cleverly written.
He said very recently that he really likes the pace of streaming shows, filming them. And he doesn't.
This one's got to be quick. He's doing that 1923. That's got to be
right. But I'm saying, it's supposedly it's a very different sort of thing, and it's it's like it's.
Well, and these are also half-hour episodes. I think this season's almost over. I think this week was episode 9, so there's probably one more coming. But really good, and it's not at all genre, but it's really good.
So. Yeah, Jason Segel is super talented, and he's funny, and he's good. He needs to be doing more. I don't know.
Yeah,
everybody on that show, the neighbors are really good. The daughter's good.
So, daughter's the whole really cast good.
If I get
the
this
other
right,
therapist
basically
is
the
good.
premise of this is a psychologist starts telling the truth, kind of thing. Is that what?
He's going through trauma in his life, and he starts telling people stuff that you don't think.
The things the things that he wishes he could tell them, but he knows he's not supposed to. Like, he's being honest with them.
Okay.
And as an example, this one woman her husband is just horrible to her, and he tells her, "Yeah, you should leave your husband," like that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So. But it's every character's got their own crap to deal with in it, but it's really good. It's really good.
That's like another one where every character is pretty well fleshed out, and they've all got their own little backstory, and except for maybe Ted McGinley, is that the guy?
It is, I think so. Yeah.
Wait a minute,
But I think
he's even good
to
in it.
be. Yeah,
He plays the next door neighbor's husband. He's great in it, though.
Yeah, but the daughter, the patient who hangs out with him, the next door neighbor, the other psychologist, she's funny as hell.
Yeah, she's really funny.
Yeah, it's
Good show.
Definitely worth watching. Let's go. What's in the box?
Show you with the box. Who's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Regular Joe's What's in the Box.
Are you guys doing it together, or
I think we were
each...
Dave, and then we'll tag team.
Yeah,
I have a simple thing because I don't have another figure, and we've talked about this on the show, but I got this as a gift. Mark actually got it to me, knowing me, and he's turned into like this great gift giver, as I've mentioned, a Swiss card, which I know we talked about. I've never owned one, and I don't know if I didn't have. I have these little glasses on the back of my phone. I would glue this to the back of my phone. It's got everything you need. It's got a little knife. It's got it's the size of a credit card. It's got scissors. It's got a toothpick. It's got a pen. It's got tweezers. It's got a nail file screwdriver.
So it's a Swiss Army knife in a credit card.
Yeah, it's made by the same company, Victorinox, and it's a Swiss card, and it could go in your wallet. It'd be a little thick. It's got a little ruler on it too, and go in your pocket. Or they should market this to be glued to your phone case, and I don't know why they don't.
You just sold one. Todd's going right to the iPad.
Todd has one.
You
don't have one?
I have the one of the little metal things that multi-tool that fits in my money clip.
Yeah,
but I could. Yeah, I would totally put that in my bag.
This is. I carry the mini bug out that is just a knife, but there's definitely, and I've had my little homemade little thing on the back of my phone, and I even got on the plane with this. I didn't do anything threatening, but it's really just to open packages and stuff.
But the tweezers and that's it's handy.
Double-sided tape right to the back of your phone case.
Nice.
Totally. So. Okay, what do you guys got going on?
You want me to start, Todd? All right, so, again, ordered, took 589 days to get here from the day I ordered it, but...
That's not Fanboy Collectibles' fault, by the way.
It's not, no, it has nothing to do with Fanboy. This is a Hot Toys figure that we all know. You place your order and it takes, a year or a year and a half or 2 years to come, but...
And it's also a significant engineering thing. I mean, this is...
It is. This is the Iron Man Mark I die-cast figure from Hot Toys. It's awesome. I mean, I've been waiting to have a Mark I. This is the third version of the Mark I that they've released over the last 10 years, I guess. Yep. But they've been sold out for years. So like we were saying earlier, with them reissuing the Spider-Man, they reissued this, but they made it die-cast this time. And I think and Todd can speak to this because he had the previous version of it, the plastic one. I think that one might have been a little bit more detailed and more weathered looking, but you can't get that one anymore unless you're going to pay $800 for it. So I was glad to be able to get this one.
Yeah. I had the two out side by side because I had told Brian I would sell him my previous one, and then I actually backed out and I said, I think I'll sell you the new one. And I went back and forth, and finally I took the two out and I put them side by side. I will say the weathering in the plastic almost looks more like metal than you can see like tiny little rust flakes in it and stuff like that. There are some. What ultimately sold it on this for me was I have the die-cast Mark II and a die-cast Mark III, and the 3Ds together look better than the version 1 of the Mark I, which is still, like I said, is a testament to Hot Toys. We're 10 years down the line. That is a super impressive figure, one of the most impressive figures they've done, and there is detail on that's absent on this one. Some of the wiring is painted, individually painted colors, but this, like I said, it's die cast and it fits in better with the other ones. There's a few little minor detail changes, but it's a great figure. It's a really
I mean, what's kind of cool with this version that's different from the previous two, and I won't display it this way, but they actually built into the back of the suit a little USB port that you can actually power the arc reactor and some of the other lights on it. And there's actually a motor in the back that spins. And you can power all that with a USB. I know we've been complaining for years about the battery compartments and how hard they are to get the batteries in, and how you got to take hatches off just to find the switches to turn them on, and then you can't leave them on because the batteries drain and all that nonsense. Like, so it's good that they're trying different things. I mean, you do have to have a USB plug connected to the back of the thing and somewhere to plug it in.
Could do it with a like a small like battery charger.
I think you can.
I think you can run it off like a USB, like a portable charger.
I have a couple little tiny USB,
like one of the little cheap ones.
Right,
you find.
And that's what I was thinking. I've got a little one that, to his size, would look like a thermos.
And it's cool. It comes with a SAN display base with a Stark missile that's stuck into it. Then it's got another stand on top of that. You can put that stand on top of, which I'm not using, but you kind of need a stand with this figure. It is top heavy and side heavy and every other direction heavy because of the die cast, but
or a suction cup and a piece of fishing line. But
yeah, well that works too. But it's impressive though.
It is very
an
impressive. They did
figure.
a great job with it. And it also, I will say, it goes back to the movie. They just did a fantastic job with this. You know, they took the suit from the comic, which was very, very iconic, but it was unrealistic that he made that, in captivity. This thing looks like something that he made, and of course he also made it in such a way that they couldn't tell what he was doing when he made it. It was, with the overlapping sheets and stuff and the designs. You can look at this thing, and it's obviously cobbled together, and it's just a brilliant design. And this, like I said, it's just a further example of it. And
every time I see it, it just runs through my head that Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps.
It's awesome.
I just love that line. Look, we're what 26, 27 movies into the Marvel series. The Iron Man one is just such an amazing movie.
It's honestly, it right now is still my favorite movie at this point. It will get displaced at some point, but it is my favorite movie. I love every minute of that film.
And I've got a large collection of Marvel Hot Toys characters at this point, but I really felt like I was missing a Mark I.
This is what started it all. I mean, that is the thing, and there's no question that you can look at it and not know what it is. So, I love it, and like I said, Brian's very happy with the other one, and they're both great figures. But it really is a testament to Hot Toys to take a figure from 10 years ago, which was, I think, number 80 of their figures. It's like the 80th figure they did. And the earlier ones not being anything to rave about. And when you put these things side by side, it was a tough choice deciding which one to keep.
And that's not usually the case. Usually when they upgrade a figure, the new version is
Mark
far superior.
III over the new Mark III, the difference was amazing because of the finish. And this, like I said, they did a super job with it, but as they did with both. And again, there is a level of detail in the original that isn't present here, but it excels in other areas. So so
cool. So do you want to save the other figure we were going to talk about for the next show?
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
Okay. Yep.
Todd and
Maybe
I both
I'll buy
have
something in between.
Yep.
Yeah, Todd and I both have another figure. We'll save that for the next show.
Cool. Okay, so next week we have no idea, but if anyone sees John Wick, let us know. Someone else should see it other than me. Gotham Knights premiere. Did anyone watch that? I have it on my DVR.
I think Todd was too busy watching Ted Lasso.
I watched nothing but Mando, Star Trek, and Ted Lasso since we've last spoken. So.
That's impressive.
And I'm one episode away from finishing the Terminal List. So.
Okay.
I finished. We'll talk about it next week. We'll save it all for next week.
Do you feel compelled to go out and buy an axe at all?
I know I do.
I know I do. Okay. So
we'll talk about which axes to buy. Maybe I'll go buy one. I have my eye on one, not the one he has, but axe is a good.
I think a hatchet. I think is a handy thing. Between Vikings and Terminal List, I did a lot of hatchet action out there.
Well,
You
wait,
carry-
I know we're trying to wrap up, but how about Worf's mini batleth thing that he used? in
They've used
Picard
that
this week?
before.
That was
We've
kind of.
seen
I
that
don't remember ever
Oh yeah,
seeing
no,
that.
we've
before.
seen that before.
Have we?
But that's also very hatchety. So
That was very hatchety. I thought that was actually a really cool. I can't believe I
it's
never
much
noticed
more
it
practical
before.
than a batleth too.
Yeah,
It's easier to
for
carry.
sure.
A bayonet doesn't come around. But the problem is you have a hatchet under your passenger seat or one of those little baseball bats they give out. You can hit someone with a baseball bat and you're okay. You hit someone with that
Hatchet is
you get a
you're
big
killing
problem.
them. Oh, you're killing them.
Yes. No, there's no question.
so I don't
but
know.
I also
unless
feel like,
unless it's got a like you can hit him with the backside of the.
I kind of feel like you get a different reaction when you pick up a hatchet.
That's true. But you know what they
feel
say.
the
You
need to-
don't
the need to
you don't
use it
pull
might
something
be
out
different.
unless you use it. It's showing it to deter someone is not what you do.
I might disagree with that, but I feel like I would back down when someone faces me with a hatchet, versus I think I would be.
Yeah, but you know what? Not that I've ever taken a full swing with a baseball bat to the head. Not that I'd ever want to, but that would.
I'm
the
talking
thought
about
of
those
that
little
is
ones, the
pretty
little ones
crazy.
that they give out at Bat Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
That's
that
like a billy
intimidating.
club.
Yeah, that's like hitting with a stick.
Yeah, but it could hurt. It could do enough damage. Anyway, we'll talk
On that
about
note,
backup weapons of choice on another episode.
Yeah.
And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.